Virgo. 7 signs to identify your soulmate. You don't believe in soulmates, do you? At least not in the way stories tell you. You don't believe in completing goals. You don't believe in inevitable destiny. You don't believe in instant, magical recognition. Because you're a Virgo. And Virgos don't believe in magic. They believe in evidence, in patterns, in proof. And they're right to be skeptical. Because most of what they call soulmates, it's fantasy, it's projection, it's need disguised as destiny. But there's something real, something that even you, with all your skepticism, with all your analysis, with all your resistance, recognize when you find it. And it's not magic, it's chemistry. It's not destiny, it's deep compatibility. It's not completing halves, it's 2 wholes choosing to add up. And there are signs, specific signs, signs you can identify, that you can verify, that you can trust. Because they're not based on vague feelings. They're based on observable patterns, on consistent behavior, on testable reality. And today you're going to learn the 7 signs that mark this person who isn't perfect, but is perfect for you. Not because destiny chose them, but because you two choose, repeatedly, consciously. And when you recognize the signs, when you see all 7, or even the majority, you will no longer doubt. You will no longer question. You will know. And knowing changes everything. First signal. Recognition is calm, not chaotic. And let's start with what defies everything movies teach. Why with this person? It's not an explosion. It's not overwhelming intensity. It's not, I need to have it now or die. It's more like, you. As if something in you recognizes something in them. Not dramatically, but certainly. And that confuses you at first. It confuses you because you expected more. More intensity, more drama, more noisy confirmation that it's special. But it doesn't come. It comes calm. It comes quiet certainty. It comes a strange feeling that you know this person, even though you just met them. And you're a Virgo? You question this. You analyze it. You look for a rational explanation. But you don't find one. Because it's not rational. It's recognition. Soul recognition. That doesn't need to shout to be real. That doesn't need fireworks to be true. And over time, as you get to know them better, calmness doesn't turn into boredom. It becomes a foundation, a solid foundation, where everything else can be built. Because intensity burns. It burns quickly, it burns intensely, and it turns to ash. But calmness endures. Calmness sustains. Calmness allows for real growth. And you realize it. You realize that being with this person is easy. Not in the sense of effortless, but in the sense of natural, of not being forced, of not needing to perform, of not having to create artificial intensity to prove it's real. Because reality, it speaks for itself. Silently, constantly. And that's the first sign, the first marker. If your connection with someone is immediate but calm, if it's deep but not chaotic, pay attention. Pay close attention. Sign 2. They see through their masks. And you have masks. You know you have them. A mask of competence. A mask of always being okay. A mask of not needing anything. And they work. With most people. Most people see the mask and believe it. Believe that you are always in control. Always okay. Always independent. But this person sees through it. From the beginning. And not in an invasive way. Not in a way that cruelly exposes you. But in a way that sees you. Sees when you say, I'm fine, but you're not. Sees when you smile, but you're tired. Sees when you say, I don't need help, but you do. And instead of accepting the mask, they offer it. They offer space. They offer permission. They offer, You don't need to perform with me. And that scares you. It's scary because being without a mask means vulnerability. It means exposure. It's a risk that when they see the real you, they won't want you anymore. But this person? They not only see the real you, they prefer the real you. Because they're not interested in perfection. They're interested in you. The whole you. The flawed you. The human you. And when you realize this, when you truly understand that a mask is not only unnecessary but an obstacle, something relaxes you, something profound, and you allow yourself, little by little, carefully, but you allow yourself to be real, to be imperfect, to be human. And instead of pushing away, you draw closer. You draw closer because finally there's a true connection. Not a performance being admired, but a person being loved. And that's the second sign. Unmistakable. If someone sees through your defenses and, instead of using them against you, creates a safe space for you to be real, that's a rare person. Precious. Third signal. You challenge yourselves without destroying yourselves. And here's where it gets interesting. Why this person? They don't let you stagnate. They don't accept complacency. They don't allow you to feel small. They push you. They challenge you. They question you. And with anyone else, that would be irritating. It would be an attack. It would be competition. But with them, it comes from the right place. It comes from seeing your potential, not from pointing out your shortcomings. It comes from wanting to see you shine, not from wanting to diminish you. And you feel the difference. You feel it in the way the challenge is delivered, with love, with care, with support, not with destructive criticism. And you respond, not with defensiveness, but with growth. Because when someone challenges you from a place of love, you want to achieve. You want to try. You want to be more. And the beauty? The beauty is that it's reciprocal. You also challenge her. You also push her. You also see potential in her and don't let her become complacent. And her? She receives the same, without feeling attacked, without feeling diminished, because you created it. You created a space where challenge is love, where pushing is care, where questioning is support. And in that space, you grow, not despite each other, but because of each other. And when you look back, when you see who you were when you met her versus who you are now, you see growth, you see evolution, you see a better version emerging. And the same with her. And that's real partnership. That's a clear sign. If someone challenges you but you feel love in it, if you grow by being near them, pay attention to that. Sign 4. The silence between you is not heavy. Let's talk about something that seems small but isn't. Silence. With most people, silence is uncomfortable. It's a gap that needs to be filled. It's tension that needs to be broken. And you fill it with conversation, with questions, with anything to avoid an awkward silence. But with this person, silence is different. It's comfortable. It's natural. You can be together, in the same space, doing separate things or just being. And there's no pressure. There's no need to entertain. There's no discomfort. And that reveals something profound. It reveals real intimacy. Because only people who are truly comfortable with each other can share silence without anxiety. And you realize it. You realize that with her, you're not always on. You're not always performing. You can just exist. And so can she. And there's peace in that. Deep peace. The peace of not having to fill every second. Of not having to prove connection through constant words. Because connection, it's already there. In the silence. In the shared presence. In the mutual peace. And the more time passes, the more you value it. You value the ability to be silent, without awkwardness, without pressure, just being, together. And that's the fourth sign. Precious. If you can be silent with someone without discomfort, if their presence is enough even without words, That's a special person. A person with whom you have real intimacy. Fifth sign. They love their quirks, not indiscretion. And you have quirks. Strange quirks. Specific quirks. Quirks that most people tolerate at best, or criticize at worst. Your habits. Your obsessive organization. Your specific needs. Your rigid routines. And you know they are a lot. You know they test your patience. You know that most people eventually get tired of them, eventually ask you to relax, to be less intense, to not care so much. But this person doesn't just tolerate them, they appreciate them. They find your quirks adorable. Not condescendingly, but genuinely. Because they see that your quirks, they aren't flaws. They are part of you, part of what makes you you. And they love you, including those parts. And what's more, she adapts, without you asking, without you demanding. Does she notice that you need your kitchen organized in a certain way? She keeps it that way. Does she realize that you have a specific morning routine? She respects it. Does she understand that you have needs that seem excessive to others? She honors them. And not because she has to, but because she wants to. Because making you comfortable, making you happy, it's important to her. And when you realize this, when you realize that she's not trying to change you, that she's not expecting you to relax, that she truly accepts and even loves your quirks, something melts. Something that was always tense, always on the defensive, relaxes. And you allow yourself. You allow yourself to be completely you, with all your strange ways, all your specific quirks, and you are loved. Exactly like that. And this is the fifth sign, of course. If someone not only accepts but loves your specific ways, that person sees you, understands you, loves you, truly. Sign 6. You are two wholes, not two halves. And let's destroy the myth of halves. Because you are not a half waiting to be completed, you are whole, complete on your own. And this person? They are too. And when you meet, it's not a fusion of incomplete halves, it's the sum of complete wholes. And the difference? It's everything, because it means you don't need them. Not in the sense of dependence. You choose them, consciously, freely. Not because they fill a void, but because they add to a life that is already complete. And they choose you, in the same way. And from this choice comes freedom. Freedom from being responsible for completing another person, from not having the burden of being everything to someone. You can be yourselves, separately, and choose to be together. And that creates health. Create a relationship where you both have lives. You have interests, you have friends, you have identities, separate ones. And instead of threatening the relationship, it enriches it. Because you bring experiences, you bring growth, you bring novelty, and you share. But you don't lose yourselves in each other. You don't merge into a single entity where individual identities disappear. You remain. You, distinctly. And you choose. You choose to share lives. You choose to build together. You choose to add. And from this addition, something greater comes. Not because one completed the other, but because two complete beings created a third thing, a relationship, which exists beyond any individual. But it doesn't replace, it adds. And that's the sixth sign, fundamental. If you feel complete alone but choose to be with her, if she is also complete but chooses you, you have the right foundation, a healthy foundation, a foundation that lasts. Sign 7. You choose each other repeatedly, and we arrive at the most important thing, the most revealing thing, the thing that separates soulmates from fleeting passion. Choice. Repeated choice. Why feelings? Feelings come and go. Intensity? Intensity diminishes. Initial passion? It cools. It's natural. It's expected. It's part of any relationship. But what marks soulmates? What truly marks them? Is it when feelings fluctuate? When intensity decreases, when passion cools, you don't leave. You choose. You choose to stay. You choose to work. You choose to invest. Not because you're obligated, not because you're trapped, but because you want to. Because when you weigh options, when you consider life without each other, the conclusion is clear. Better together. And choosing isn't a one-time thing. It's not a yes at the altar and that's it. It's daily. It's in difficult moments. It's when she irritates you, when you get tired, when routine takes over. It's choosing to see beyond the momentary, to see a partner, to see a friend, to see the person with whom you built something, with whom you want to continue building. And she chooses you, in the same way, even when you're not at your best, even when you're difficult, even when it would be easier to leave. She stays, she chooses, she invests. And from this repeated choice, from this continuous conscious decision, comes real commitment, comes mature love, comes a relationship that survives time, challenges, life, because it's based on choice, not on volatile feelings. And this is the seventh sign, the final one, the most important. If you continue to choose each other, even when it's difficult, even when feelings fluctuate, you have something real. You have something lasting. You have a soulmate. Not in the mystical sense, but in the real sense. Two people who choose, repeatedly, consciously, lovingly, to build a life together. And now you know. You know the 7 signs, and you can check, you can observe, you can test. Because they're not based on magic, they're based on pattern, on behavior, on choice. Is the connection calm, not chaotic? Do they see through masks? Do you challenge each other without destroying? Is silence comfortable? Do they love quirks? Are you whole, not halves? Do you choose each other repeatedly? If so, if most of these, then you found them. Found them not because fate placed them there, but because you two are compatible, deeply, truly, and you choose each other. And that choice? That's the real magic. Not mystical, but human, beautiful, real, and more powerful than any fate could be. Because it's free, it's conscious, it's choice. And choice? Choice is what makes soulmates real. And let's talk about what to do now. Now that you know the signs. Now that you can recognize them. Because recognition is only the beginning. But what comes next? How do you act with this knowledge? First, you observe. Without anxiety, without haste. You observe the person you are considering, or the person you are already with, and you check. How many signs are present? All 7? Unlikely. But 5? 6? Enough. More than enough. Because nobody is perfect. No relationship is perfect. But if most of the markers are there, if most of the patterns fit, you have something real, something worth investing in, worth the effort, worth choosing. You communicate. Because even if the signs are there, even if the compatibility is deep, relationships don't work on autopilot. They need communication, expression, sharing what you see, what you feel, what you want. And you, being a Virgo, you tend to hold back. You tend to process things internally. You tend to only speak when you have everything clearly articulated. But with a soulmate, you can speak in a jumbled way. You can share the process. You can be vulnerable in thoughts that are not yet formed. Because they will hold your space. They will listen. They will help you process. And communication? It becomes a bridge that connects 2 inner worlds. That creates understanding. That builds deeper intimacy. Virgo, you invest. Not halfway, not secretly, but completely. Because when you find someone who ticks boxes, who shows signs, who is deeply compatible, investing halfway is wasting. It's self-sabotage. It's fear disguised as caution. So you choose. You choose risk. You choose vulnerability. You choose to give everything. Not in a way that you lose, but in a way that you surrender. To the process, to the growth, to the building. And when you invest like that, when you really give everything, the relationship has a chance, a real chance, to be everything it can be. And about growth. Why a soulmate relationship? It's not static. It's not about finding the perfect person and that's it. It's about finding the right person and growing, together, through challenges, through changes, through life happening. And you will change, both of you, inevitably. And change can be scary. It can make you question if you're still compatible, if you're still right for each other. But do you have a foundation? Do you have signs? Change doesn't destroy, it transforms, it deepens, it improves, because you grow in the same direction. Maybe not exactly parallel, but complementary. And individual growth? It enriches the relationship. It brings novelty. It brings depth. It brings continuous life to what could become stagnant. And finally, about gratitude. Because finding a soulmate isn't a guarantee. It's not a right. It's luck. It's a gift. It's the result of the right choices at the right times that aligned two compatible lives. And when do you recognize this? When do you truly see that you have something rare? Gratitude comes. Not performative gratitude, but deep gratitude, which is expressed in action, in care, in continuing to choose, in continuing to invest, in not taking things for granted. And gratitude? Gratitude nourishes. It nourishes relationships. It nourishes love. It nourishes both. And it creates a positive cycle of mutual appreciation, of mutual care, of love that strengthens with time, not that weakens. So Virgo, you have the tools now. You have the signs. You have the knowledge. You have the ability to recognize when you find them. And when you find them, don't let skepticism sabotage you. Don't let fear win. Don't let overanalysis kill something real. Because soulmates, they exist. It's just not what movies sell. It's not magic. It's deep compatibility. It's repeated choice. It's two wholes that add up. And when you find them, you will know. Not because the universe put stars in the sky, but because the signs will be there, observable, verifiable, real. And you can trust them. Trust the pattern. Trust the evidence. Trust the choice. And build. Build something real, something lasting, something that is exactly what you always wanted. Even when you didn't believe it existed, it exists, and you can have it. If you recognize it, if you choose it, if you invest in it, completely.